Guys, we're getting some. Put that there. There. Well, okay, I'm going to try and keep the indie talk to a minimum here. Trying to keep it on the show, but I do want to. Question of why I do what I do on that front again. And again, this turned into a bit of a thread regarding Indy's latest video, which she apparently put a $40 prey wall on it. So that, so again, she wants to be known as a solo thing. So, and she tried, the stuff we did with Tyler back in the day was also supposedly paywalled, and that's why she irritated them on YouTube. I mean, not YouTube, but Pornhub, and try to get it taken down. But nothing gets cut down from Pornhub. But that's another issue. But I'm going to put everything, again, stuff I've heard about this video. Again, let's see. Go on, go here. Like I said, it's like apparently they had to fake the cum shots, and I said, let me put it in crass, somewhat sexist terms. If you have a fine piece of ass like Indy doing you, and you have to fake your cum shot, give it up. You are beyond regular gay. You are full-blown Liberace gay and have no business being intimate with any female, regardless of her delusional self-identifying shtick. And I started a little thing, someone by the context required. Yeah, reportedly, Indy's first non-solo video in about 12 years, this time with her current fiance, didn't conclude in the standard fashion, and the man who she's planning on marrying couldn't manage her decent ejaculation, with the thing having to be faked. This does not bode well. Reported by who? It's by those who've seen it. Why do you care? I am concerned about Indy's health and that she gets some proper treatment for her mental disorder, which she's not getting now. Then why? Someone has to. I said, but why you? And again, it's like, legitimate question. She's coming in and not what's going on. I said, again, someone has to step up, and I don't see anyone giving a shit about what happens to her. Everyone is just sitting back and having a good old time watching what the crazy girl will do next, even cheering on her self-destruction. I can't sit by and stay silent. And just for curiosity, getting some impressions there, but again, the main thing is I'm trying to step up here, and again, I'm getting everything. It's like she goes off on these tangents, and people tend to leave. And she's like the fourth guy she's been engaged to, and also apparently, was a female lawyer at one point. So that so really fifth engagement here, and it's like one of the aspects of borderline personality disorder is you tend to go through relationships like that. You cannot maintain a personal relationship because you tend to flame out after a while. But, one thing I'm trying to drive home is, Indy, you need to heal before you're going to have any success here. I'm not saying it's going to be me either, okay? I'm not delusional either. Okay, I got the Ghostbuster skin called up right now. He's not showing up right now. Let's take a look at the shot. But again, part of my motivation here is, so many D-Trons just said nobody was there to say, you might want to rethink this. Are you sure about this? Because this doesn't seem right. So many, no, you all affirmation. And they go right off that cliff and wonder, why the fuck didn't you stop me? And that's why I'm saying someone has to stand up here. Oh, Dennis is back. Okay, so let's see what's here. Reviews are not kind. Sean Aries, apparently it's coming across as hot garbage. K-pop Demon Hunter still going on here? Hmm. Still got Big Lebowski Jones here. And Pajama Boys. No. Okay, Gamora, Thanos, Ghost Rider, and Ghost Rider Burger. And then Fort Nightmare stuff. Ash Williams. Yeah. Yeah. And the victory thing here. No. New set of battle ready stuff here. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. And this one. This is, I had a Pulp Fiction with John Travolta, and I was like, okay, what now? Nikes. Lots of Doja Cat coming in because, can't, damn it. Unfortunately, I pulled the trigger on a Star Trek book on eBay, so I can't do it. Wow. Okay, that one's still on that, and 24. Look at the top here. Nothing spectacular in the quest, so I'm not going to bother going in there. So let's go ahead and just jump in there. All right. There we go. Apparently, they now got a goal of raising $1 million to buy a house. Okay. He's got $20,000 so far. Hey, Daniel. We got 7 people watching. All 7 on X. Look at it. Yeah, the crawl at the bottom is, regarding links in the YouTube descriptions and help support this channel because Indy's trying to raise about $1 million for a house. I'm $100 in the hole because of certain things happening. We should got the rent paid first. Unfortunately, it was last month's rent. So let's just say we got a very understanding property manager. And you have to do some math at some point to figure out when I do file for my Social Security, how much I need to reduce my hours that I'm doing now in order to not screw up my rent. Because the Social Security, but okay, that'll be a little under $900 a month. Can I move here? Oh, there we go. So it won't be enough to say totally. And plus, I'd like to maintain the. Nah, I'm not going to last long. I can't even get down. I'll count that as the first round glitches. So I have to maintain the judge just to make up the difference. Yeah, try shooting him and not the ground. Oh. You're going down, bitch. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'd be starting off about $860 something a month or $800. And right now I'm doing about, call it $1,500 a month.
Ow.
So I have to keep it rough. I'd have to probably cut my hours in half.
Oh, God.
No, I think what would help though is get that Social Security check at the beginning of the month. So okay, boom, front loaded, pay stuff, and then keep their paycheck coming for other stuff, and maintain them. So not have to plot out everything beginning of the month and hope to God nothing happens in the meantime. So there'll be some figuring to do. All right, come on. Get fully rested. What would also be nice is if the president can pull off those tariff rebate checks in the near future. Because we could definitely use a couple grand, yeah. Come on. Come on, you whistle. All right. No. Now what?
You hear it?
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Hold on. Let me check on this. It is not a fire, you swan. There's nothing on out there.
No.
The hell there is.
Out there? Or is it mine?
Oh, it's out here.
You didn't leave anything on, did you?
No. You're in the first place.
Oh, ow. I didn't need your help.
You didn't run the freaking microwave. Anyway, I've got a game going. I'm streaming.
What's your name? I need your
Oh,
help.
for Christ's sake.
Please let me look.
Get on.
Oh. Oh.
Come on.
Good. I wasn't sure. Fight me.
Oh, I'm still alive here.
Hold on.
All right. All right. Damn it. Nah. Cord's too long. Come on up. Give me that. Bitch. God damn it, come on. Fucking storm. Bitch. You cunt face little shit, come on. There. God damn it. Shit. Bitch! Okay, how did I survive that? Fuck me. Med kit, I need it fast, and I got problems. Okay. No, I got caught there and dead. All right, tell you what. Let's do a little fishing. Truck still there? Yes. Okay. Okay. Screw it. Get out of here. Is there anything in here I could use? Already got it. Come on. Ooh. Swap that out and do that. Take a time. Oh, no, no. Okay, Dinky, let's go. Right up the man. No. You fucker. Traumatized my roly-poly. Oh, shit. Bitch. Try that again. I did a statue to the roly poly. Yeah, that's a fake one. Well, no, but that someone actually asked me, Uncle, why's it got to be you? Well, no one else is standing up for this kid. And if they kid, she's 30. That's kind of something that Laura Becker put out. Don't trust words, don't even trust actions, trust patterns. And I'm trying to maintain a good pattern here, consistent one. Want to offer to help. Okay. Make it clear that I'm not going to abandon her like so many others have. Even her family is like, okay, she's gone off the rails again. All right, whatever makes you happy, Indy. Yeah. You thinking you're a boy, finally going to straighten you out, we're all for it. Not that they buy it any more than I do, but they've been doing this shit half their life. So. So I'm coming into it relatively fresh. Or I haven't had to come up with 15 years of, what the hell's she doing this time? Okay. Oh, this is new. No, I'm on a piano. Okay. That should go. Whoops, shit. Oh. First time I pulled that off. All right. Okay. No, I didn't. Give me that. All right. Whoa, okay, God damn it. Following on the device here. Aim. Now who the hell's shooting at me? Bitch. Okay. No, I like my rifle. No, get off the damn thing. Ah. That's why I don't do that. It'd be a nice thing when you another car for your for Fortnite measure bring an Ecto 1. I mean, technically, they've already kind of had it in the game. When you go into the barn, you can see it under the tarp. You know, they modeled the entire thing. I'm hearing a rare chest here somewhere. There. There. Already got all that. Just say, Okay. Now. All right. This is simpler. Yeah. All right. Now we got to go. Damn it! Fuck! What? I got distracted, thank you. Yes, it was you. You call what in the middle of a damn firefight? What do you fucking think? Yeah, I was getting shot at. People watching on Twitter. Nobody on YouTube. kind of thing makes you wonder about your subscriber base, but still, you know. If we put a chat in on X, I'll still see it. So go ahead, you know. I was wondering how many are watching this just for something in the background. How many want to hear me another rant on indie to see I'll say something stupid? How many are actually just watching for Fortnite stuff? So, I am curious. Okay? I have the chat window up on the screen for a reason. I want And I don't just do this to show off here, guys. What's this? Okay, just looked odd for a second. Right. I mean, I do want to, kind of an interaction here. It's maybe. This is kind of like Tom Snyder said about radio. It's mass communication, one person at a time. Where are we here? Okay, let's try this again. Let's just get straight to the monastery here. Of course, there's somebody else here. Bitch, die, you fucker. God damn it. Okay. Okay. Can you come on? Coming from the north. Let's head up here. Come on, let me out. There we go. All right. Oh, this is gonna get ugly if I don't get something quick. Huh. All right, first things first. All right. Wait, is that no. No. So there's one back here. No, I've already got it. I didn't go down the pier at all. Anyway. And we don't have time. to mess around with the other stuff, so let's try to get this out. Gotta love the automatic doors. Yes, one little aspect, the channel awesome. They, talking about, I think it's a nostalgia critic comparing, new Ghostbusters and the 2016 versus the pre-existing, franchise and such. And what's the difference? And it brought up, it went into, they do some pretty deep dives sometimes. It's not just, being snarky about a video or a movie. And brought up the fact that Ghostbusters fandom is kind of particular in that, like there are a few other fandoms that are similar to what Shit. Because you don't see very many people cosplaying as Peter Venkman or Ray Stantz or Egon. They create their own character. Or themselves as a Ghostbuster. Their own name will be on the jumpsuit. And that makes it kind of personalized, personal kind of fandom there. Okay, you are. There we go. It's kind of like, my thought. What they should have done for a Ghostbusters sequel is go into, if you didn't want to get the whole cast back together, you go into one of those, franchises that Peter was drooling about at the very beginning. Little fucker. As you know. Now give me that. Alright. No. Hold on. Get that in the right spot, because I don't want to be grabbing things. What? Did what? No, they're fine. I actually would have suggested that brand. No, it's a bargain brand. I would have suggested that as far as brands go. That's a brand I would have suggested, actually. Oh, fucking A. God damn assholes! Bitch! How the hell did you get that shot? Motherfucker. I'll go back to the lobby when I know I've leveled up. All right. Okay. Can we get moving here? Thank you. All right, now where are we coming in from? From the south. Let's just go there. Okay, I think we're gonna have some competition. Gotcha. I don't think I noticed that before. The proton pack fires up one and you get a kill. Oh, that's right. The little lights in the brain. We got another. There we are. I should probably watch Ghostbusters again. Yep. There's 3. All right. All right. Situated right here, right? Yeah, and I'm worried less about the color of the weapon than I am about how easy it is to get the rounds on target. Whoa, shit! Yeah, I'm getting shot at here. Hold on. Bitch. All right. Okay, one more time. Okay. Indecisive much? This is. I like to see Marsh because I want a chance to see them die and I get avenged, but also to get the system more used to running the thing until get fewer glitches. All right, we're up to 10 people. Is anybody watching on YouTube that can click on one of the on X? So I'm just waiting for me to say something weird about Indy. Where are we coming in? Okay, Martin. Resistance base. Not the same with the Falcon gun, though. Of course, then again, they kind of missed the boat by not being able to go onto the Falcon. There's something to go on there. Okay, let's actually... Let's start out here. Move. Come on, where'd you go? Oh. Come on. Show yourself, little slime. Bitch. There's one. Look at that. All right. Ooh. Hello. We're going that way. And I don't think we're going to stick around here. Whoops. There we go. All right. I guess I'm maxed out on gold. All right. Let's get out of here. It's too close to the storm. Yeah. Well, we're going to be stuck with the Sentinel. Make it a gold one. Okay, we got company. Bye. Whoop. Yeah, that's what I already got it. Yeah. Get up there. What the hell? That does this shit. Right. Ah. We'll take this one. I like to think I've gotten pretty good at evasion in this game, too. There's a great deal of success in this game is just not getting killed. Let me go from the outside of this. Ooh. Oh, there we are. Okay. Couple snipers. I'll upgrade the rifle. Let's see how to manage this. Actually, is there a launch pad somewhere? You can do it that way. Upstairs. No. All right, now to get up on the roof of that building and drop it down here. Okay, let's see. There we go. And we've already covered this. Huh. There's a chopper. Okay, here we go. Hang on before we do that. Up one more. Swords all over the damn place. Okay. The coin of phrase, get to the chop up. Do it now. All right. Get some altitudes, are a little harder to hit. All right, and what the hell? Stop that. I don't know what happened there. Little creep. What the hell? Weird. All right, hold on here. I'm gonna put a hurt on him, didn't I? All right, hold on. Actually, we can go down this way. Just ride the water all the way down. And come back up when we catch somebody by surprise. Whoop! The fuck? What the freaking hell just happened here? Okay, let's for a bit of a reset here. Let's take a look here. Still 10 people on X, nobody on YouTube. Not sure what that says, but okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, still not quite up there yet. So. Now, just to clarify, what are we going to go with here? Okay. If the autoclaim is still on, I turn it on at this point because I don't want to give a shit beyond this point. Right now is finishing up the battle pass, and I think next one will go with. Right, I got that. The rest of this doesn't really give a shit. This is super cells, and I don't care about those. Tell you what, let's go ahead. Let's pick somebody else here. And actually, I think. Come on, stop it. No. Go with Wolverine here. And actually, we're going to take this opportunity to do a bit of a bio break. So I'm going to pull that for a moment. Game's still up. I just, on the share screen. So we're going to throw up a video here. 'Cause I need to get up, stretch my legs, and drink something. So again, partially it's kind of showing what else happens on this channel besides me getting killed in Fortnite and ranting about India on a constant basis. Let's see. Let's talk about the next generation stuff here. Okay, something I need to really get back into here. When last we left off, we had just gotten up to through the movies, but that overlaps with a little something here because the movies are going great, and so 1986 goes around. The 20th anniversary of the show is coming up, and one consistent thing, all the fan writers are going into Paramount. Where when are you doing another Star Trek TV show? Even back then, it was not. No, this is a TV property. It works property on TV. Movies are fine. We want a TV show. And again, this just because Phase 2 fizzled out, there's other stuff. And so finally, they figured, okay, enough time's gone by. That's right. We're gonna do a new Star Trek TV show. But we do need to get Gene Roddenberry's blessing on this. They knew that much, even though it's like having him on as executive consultant, even though they barely listened to him. They did have to give the movies a sense of legitimacy. They had to have his name in there somewhere, even if he was actively sabotaging them at times. He leaked scripts because he didn't like he didn't like that he had killed Spock. He leaked the script out. That sort of thing. So, and the scripts are all numbered. So yeah, who number had that number script? That was Roddenberry. Yeah. But they knew they needed him on board in some capacity. So they're telling, okay, this is what we have in mind for a new Star Trek show. And the idea they had in mind was, new Enterprise, for they get sell new toys, but also they're going to have cadets running the thing, going out there, getting in trouble, causing misadventures. And Roddenberry has always been opposed to that sort of thing because he was in the military. He didn't go to the academy, but he went to an OCS program, and he knows no, cadets are at the academy. They're learning to become officers. You don't send cadets out. You send experienced officers to do this type of thing. But that's why he's always rejected the idea of a Starfleet Academy show, because this is what they'll do. They'll do Animal House in space. And he kind of came back with their ideas about, well, no, God, no, please. I could do better than that right now. And he was retired pretty much at that point. He had settled into doing conventions and trying to his hand at writing other stuff. Because he said in an interview with Starlight, he didn't want Star Trek written on his tombstone. Okay. But as a major point, they kept at it. Okay, well, fine, it's my baby. I'm stuck with this. I might as well do something with it. But he had the mistake of saying, I could do better than you now. Better than that right now. And I said, would you? I was like, oops. He let his mouth, write a check that his ass had to catch. So, So, okay, fine. You got me. And he didn't want to do it again. Because, again, after the interview, he lost his family because of the first one. He couldn't control himself. He got dallying in with Majel and Nichelle and God knows who else. Even going back to the lieutenant, he was fooling around with Nichelle, with Majel. But by the end of the show, his marriage with Eileen had been gone. And Majel already talking marriage at that point, by the time the third season rolled around. And it's I'm not going through that again, but it's like, but okay, what we're gonna do first run syndication. There won't be a network telling you what to do. You will be in charge. You'll do it the way you want. Again, You're a big boy. You've been around long enough. We're going to trust you not to, put go-go dances on the bridge. But, that sort of thing. But, okay, fine. And again, first-run syndication was not a new thing. It had mainly been done with like game shows on primetime slots. Afternoon when the network's doing their thing. Well, nighttime version of match game they call it. They had a nighttime version of Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy. That's everything. That's what that started. Those were daytime game shows originally. They didn't start prime. They were during the day. While other teams were running soap opera, then some were running game shows. But there had been some first-run syndication dramas. Some, not many. And they generally went to like independent stations like Gentle Ben and stuff like that. Although even then, it's like very little first-run drama. Mostly it was just sitcoms and talk shows. But we're feeling a little better, because Star Trek's done in syndication where the stations can put it where they want it. They can target their audience and we'll go that route. And with that, Roddenberry came back and he started putting together as much of the old band as he could. And again, a lot of it, let's clear the deck a little bit. He had to rely on a lot of people. But also by this point, the myth of the Great Bird of the Galaxy had taken full form by this point. So he was claiming a lot of credit that really wasn't due him. Now, whether this was just shorthand, saying we did this and this, because he did have to sign off on everything, but he didn't come up with a lot of it. A lot of it was, by Gene Coon and Matt Jeffries and others. But it's like, now you're having to deal with this because you tell the story enough times, you start to believe it. You kind of forget the details yourself. So he came in and he's kind of buying the myth himself that he's created of being the Great Bird of the Galaxy and the creator of all things Star Trek. So we're bringing back Bob Justman and Dorothy Fontana and David Gerrold, and Eddie Milkus was in there for a while. And this is not quite the same guy they dealt with 20 years earlier. And also his own health was starting to fade. Cause by this point, he was starting to develop a little something called hydroencephalus, water on the brain, where basically you get fluid buildup inside the brain, and it's like it does tend to affect things. He'd have good days, and other days it's like not so great. He's a little off there. Also, complicating the matter is, his lawyer Leonard Mazos, he'd been around back in the original series days. He wasn't that much of a presence. Now he inserted himself right in there. He was there during casting meetings and other things, and he had no business being there. He would write notes on scripts, claiming it was from Roddenberry. Difference is, it's going through Dorothy Fontana. She used to be a secretary. She knows damn well Gene's handwriting, knew it wasn't him. And he was offering story notes and eventually landed him in a arbitration grievance with the Writers Guild and had him banned from the lot. It got that point. It was like in the documentary Chaos on the Bridge. Shatner's been really documentary. Talking to David Gerrold. And one point, so Mazlis, and they're on like third floor of the building. And there's this Mazlis, and up against the window at the end of the hallway. And remember, one of the things writers do to kind of amuse themselves and keep them going totally nuts is imagine ways of killing their enemies in ways that they can get away with. They're imagining these things. They're using a story and stuff. Like Harlan Ellison, we used to name villains in his stories over the guys who picked on him as a kid. So he's seeing Mazlis at the end of the hallway and just the window there, and knowing there's nothing between them and the ground but like maybe a hedgerow, and like I could charge and throw them out there and they'd give me a medal because everyone hated him by this point. But yeah, that's the kind of thing. We're not a good environment because they're going thing and you're going, but he's nailing it. Okay, you want to do this thing right. You got to separate. You put about 78 years since Kirk and Spring all wrapped up. That gives the movies some time to wrap up whatever they're doing because they're by 85, 86. We're talking Star Trek 3, 4, not Star Trek 4. So I figured but then by this point the cast they knew the original cast is too expensive and too old. Insurance isn't going to cover them. They're not going to pay that much just for the cast. So there's got to be a new show regardless, or a new cast. So that and Roddenberry wasn't much for no. It's not. Let's go forward. Let's keep going forward. So, this whole thing, what started about going forward, going out and seeing what's going on. So set it not quite 100 years, but close enough. About 78 years after whenever Kirk and Spock are finished up. So we're talking 24th century. Technology is it's well beyond the 23rd century, but not so nuts. I think and his idea with the design of the Enterprise D, he called it technology unchained. Where it's like it doesn't just have to be just form function. Like we can make the ship look like a piece of sculpture, and that's where you get the big swooping things, and the So. And again, a lot of this, I don't know how much of that, but again, in writing the Bible, the show's Bible, the writer's guide, David Gerald did a lot of that. Now, granted, a lot of things were also cut and pasted from the original Bible. Some things are consistent, but the character descriptions. Jean-Luc Picard, I think, started as Julien Picard. I think maybe because the name Jean-Luc Picard, that was actually one of Cousteau's associates, was named Jean-Luc Picard. I think there was 2 seasons of the name, though. But either way, it was based on, the name was pulled from somewhere. Riker, that went through a few, mainly changing in spelling, whether to spell it with a Y or an I. And again, a lot reusing previous concepts, the whole Riker, Deanna dynamic that was lifted from Decker and Ilea. And of course, they had to, with regards to Deanna, they had to bat back a few ideas. He wanted to have 3 boobs, 3 or 4 boobs. And Dorothy Fontana was like, well, how are you going to line them up, Gene? All in a row, stack. And when you make it clear that this is stupid, he backed off rather quickly. That's the thing. Roddenberry he would do a lot of stuff, just kind of like thinking out loud. What if we do this? Then how serious it was at that point, who knows? Let's see. Tasha Yar started off as Maja Hernandez, a deliberate ripoff of Vasquez from Aliens. Then you saw that. Yeah, I'd like that kind of. She's the one I could have fun with. That's good. And that's why originally the casting was Denise Crosby was going to play Deanna, and Marina Sirtis is bringing to play Hernandez. But they would like him, but not necessarily in those roles. And in a typical case of Roddenberry, let's shuffle things. Let's let's make Sirtis the counselor, and Crosby can be the security chief. We'll change the name, something make a Russian name, Tasha Yar. That's a good name, and the answer, make from Planet Beta. What? Betazoid. That doesn't sound like Bug-Eyed Monster. No. And let's see, Geordie LaForge. That was a little honor to a real life fan, Georges LaForge, the kid in an iron lung. Hardcore fanboy though, and the Star Trek kind of kept him going. I think his story is written up. I think in Star Trek Lives. About they would set up a TV so he could watch it in the mirror over his head. And let's see, but they didn't have a chief. They didn't feel the need for a chief engineer to be a main character. He'd show up, and let's see, Wesley. That was a self-insert for Roddenberry as a kid. I think to try and mask it a bit. Originally, it was Leslie, a girl. But I think they figured that's a little creepy, Gene. Well, back and forth. And Wesley, that was Gene Roddenberry's middle name. Was Eugene Wesley Roddenberry. So that's in there. Bob Justman had to argue for the inclusion of Worf as a regular character. Because one of the things Roddenberry wanted is no direct connection to the original series. We're going to try and stamp this up and make it stand on its own. So no relying on bringing up old, no Vulcans, no Romulan, and he did not want a Klingon in there. But And again, Justman kind of fought for that. No. This is the statement you're making is we're now friends. Like back in Errand of Mercy. It's like, one day the Earth and the Klingons will be fast friends. Never. It's like, well, this is the fulfillment of that. And on that one, okay, fine, you can have your Klingon. And then of course we bring in Worf. The casting of that was thing because Michael Dorn was a fan. He had his own idea about a Klingon, so he was very gruff, very guys he knew were there, and they were, hey, how's it going, Mike? Just sort of growled at him to get into the character. So he went in, so he blew him away on that one. And let's see, Data. Originally, the writer's guide said it was going to be pronounced Data. But I think that was one of those cases of, especially once you got Patrick Stewart in there. No, Data. So, okay, fine. It sounds more like a name anyway than Data. And they actually made a poke on that in when Dr. Pulaski, Data. No, my name is Data. What was the difference? One is my name, one is not. And, of course, Beverly Crusher. Well, it's like, got a female doctor in there, and I think it's kind of pulling on more of the, again, putting, a female, it's a more of a nurturing character, somewhat a little more appealing than a gruff old country doctor like McCoy. And I think that pretty much covers, the main cast there and the cast of characters. And again, when trying to cast the captain, they talked. William Campbell was up for at one point. Few guys they were looking for because Roddenberry had in mind he had more of a hairy Frenchman in mind. What he did not have in his mind was a bald Englishman, but that was another Bob Justman one where because Justman saw him at a lecture talking about Shakespeare or something or Dickens, and was just taken away by the voice. Said that yes, this would be a good guy. And it's the case of he's actually Patrick Stewart was 45 when he was cast. Whereas Picard was 55. He's in the mid-50s. So he was playing about 10 years younger. But, the bald head sold it that he was that age. And that little thing, because, it took quite a selling point. And they brought him in, and Stewart wasn't a fan. Like he maybe aware of it because it was in pop culture. But again, Star Trek's not that big a presence. And he had to be told, when he signed on finally, it was like, you realize you kind of, signed on to an American folklore. But the whole thing about whether, should he wear a hairpiece or not, and they sent back to London for his personal hairpiece. And it showed up, and it wasn't in great shape. Kind of a rat's nest type of thing. Came in with it on, it's like, okay, lose it, we'll go bald. It's imposing enough and a little easier to sell that he's older. But again, Roddenberry being the good think on his feet solution to a production issue or a question. Because one report said, wouldn't they have cured baldness by the 24th century? Roddenberry's answer was perfect. By the 24th century, nobody will care. And that sums it up. Okay, perfect. I think Roddenberry's big skill really was in producing and in solving these kind of problems that come up in such a way that works. And he was, as a writer, he won a Writers Guild Award for one of his Have Gun Will Travel scripts. But he was kind of hit or miss. A large part with like Justman said, it's like you could tell how far down in the bourbon bottle he'd gotten by how weird the script was getting. First act, teaser, first act, brilliant, best thing you ever saw in your life. Act 2, Act 3, it's like, okay, still there, but by the time Act 4, it's like, what the fuck am I reading here? I think you could probably sum up the Omega Glory as a good example of that. You got a perfect little mystery here. What has happened to this ship? My God, we got this crystallized thing, and you get down and this thing about the Captain Tracy standing up against all these people and trying to stand, and by the end it's like, what? He's reading the Constitution. What the hell happened here? It's just that sort of thing. That's where. I mean, yeah, they wouldn't go to press with that. It's like, you got to fix this fourth act. Shore it back up and get something workable. But again, the production, again, the Chaos on the Bridge is a great resource for watch what the hell happened on this show behind the scenes. It wasn't all fun and games. The cast, they're still getting along great. They're all best friends. Get together for dinners. Kind of, soldiers in arms type of thing. Because they were, the conditions they were. I suspect the trailers they were put in as their dressing rooms were probably the same ones they used back in the original series. Little rinky-dink, ratted out, trailers out back. They were not the greatest condition. And again, they probably would date back, probably before the original series. As soon as they could get them, we don't have to build digressions. Just line them up back there and we're done. But also, one of the things that occurred is of course, the cast had all been, they've been around TV, and they knew you're doing a long hard shoot. You gotta pick your chances to goof off once in a while. Yep. Now Patrick Stewart coming in, the Royal Shakespeare Company, very dedicated, very serious. We are here to work, not play around. And it's like, and they continue to say, Patrick, lighten up, okay? It's we're not playing for the Queen, okay? A large part of that was just Patrick Stewart was scared to death he was going to get fired and sent back to England any moment because he was going to make sure that he worked. Eventually, he got into the hang of it, and he got just as goofy as everybody else. Like, if you've ever seen the video of, it was a screwy little thing, Patrick Stewart singing a kind of a birthday song to Roddenberry, dancing and prancing around, and concludes with a straw hat and cane, and it just sort of plopped back in the thing, hat on the thing, engage, and they take that, fling it. It's on YouTube, find it, I should track it down. It's a sort of the stage, Patrick Stewart, the Royal Shakespeare, and just goofing around like a weird, when they're filming, I'm jumping ahead here. All good things, or just even just generally, when things are getting like John or Frank said, again, you've got daffier and daffier thing. It's like someone reporting shields down 10%. Oh my God, we're going to die, and leap into Jonathan Frakes' arms. It's like during filming all good things. It's like one, he just leaps up over the big wooden horseshoe in the back of the bridge and is wrestling around on the ground with Michael Dorn. It's like it got crazy. Huh? Now, as for why there's only one blooper reel that's gotten out really of the Next Generation because they try to continue the tradition. Berman really didn't go for that. They got one out, but that was it. And it's like, yeah, all right. Wasn't quite the same. But I think a lot of say, no, we're not doing any more of these here. Okay? And if we do, it's staying strictly internal and not going out. Because one of them is like it included as they're introducing the cast and the blooper. One of them is one of shots from a movie when Marina Sirtis where she's topless. It's like, gee, this goes out. When these things go out, they go out in front of kids too, right? Knock it off. We're not doing it anymore. But okay, Next Gen comes out and is running. And it's pulling in this, just as good of numbers as the original series because most of it, the stations who are already carrying the original series and whatever, got first dibs. And that's okay. We've got new structure, but the deal is for a full year. Like you got it, there's no bailing out after 13 weeks. But it got it, and it took off, and it was the number one show first run in syndication drama for years. And when it took off, and that's when you start seeing everyone else wanting to jump on the bandwagon, though. That's when you get Babylon 5 and all these other shows that came out, that are reboot of, a restart of Kung Fu, for God's sake, with David Carradine. And God, I don't know how many different shows cropped up on it. Xena, Hercules, all these things. That's because Star Trek Next Generation was a big whammo hit. Like, okay, there's a market here.
Whole thing in Hollywood. No one wants to be first, but everyone wants to be second. And so we go on, and Next Gen is doing great. All right, and then say we want a spinoff.
All right, and we will leave it there. You want to see the rest of it? The video is on my channel. It's I think it's the second episode of my History of Star Trek series. We're going, the next generations is what. The inspiration is Simon Schama's History of Britain, where he just starts, spilling anecdotes. It's not necessarily meant to be, exhaustive thing, and not even oral. Just this is, as I understand it, this is the history of Star Trek. This is what happened. So let's go ahead and bring. Yeah, that's still got a ways because they're starting to go into DS9 and other ones and what. Okay, so let's get back into this here. Now we're getting close here. So how much do I got? Let's double check here. I got okay, just once. I level up. That's it. I'm done. Okay. Tonight has been a little too frustrating and taking too damn long. Somewhere in this eye is really bugging me lately. I trimmed my bangs a bit earlier. So if that was, I was getting poked in the eye quite a bit. And we'll see if that eventually straightens out. Yeah, I know if I'm getting tired. This has been a busy day. We had a doctor's appointment today. Go in, so that meant being out and about. And that's always a bit of, a bit tiring. You then come back and it's all the other rigmarole. It's, Amazon delivery come by for groceries, so I had to be up for that. So I just, no wonder why the trash builds up, because I'm too fucking tired to take it out. But, timesheets filled out, mail, and in the mailbox, so, well, they took them by the mail. Okay, fine, just make sure they're mailed up by tomorrow, and they get there in time. This next check should reflect my minuscule raise. Because it was divided, 22 hours at this rate, 22 hours another. Doing 19 and then 18 something. Make them both 19. That's about, Because if we get too much higher, then it's like, then we're going to start losing benefits. So it's like, no, we're not doing that. So as far as the grand scheme of things, I'm in a bit of a Bataan death march until I can put in for my Social Security. I think the way the tax system we're breaking down, I will get paid the gross on that one. So all right. Just do the one. All right, come on. I got it. Really more, too. There you go. Oh, no, that's the most I get. Still got a problem with the bugs. I mean, they're not necessarily quite as bad as they were, but you still ain't quite going away yet. And our next door neighbor is, nope, he's moving out because she can't handle it. She got the bugs, so she can't handle it. So she's out. What I'm hoping in that case is that with that one unoccupied, they'll be able to get in there and do something that will get to the nest and solve the whole problem. All right. And then there. And that. All right. Now. Huh. Did I? No. Oh, there's a chest on there. Okay, get your happy ass up there. Okay, now we can pick the stuff in between here. Up here? Nope. Oh, it's an ammo can. All right, now I'm full up on the big rounds. Ah, frack. I want to do that again. There we go. Better rifle. Instead of trying to be cute and busting things open, just open the damn box. Fuck you. I'm not getting stuck with another one. All right. Nope. Come on. Screw it. I got time for this. Ooh, I gained 5 experience. Oh, there's a police points. Fine. Be that way. Already got the sword. For mythic items, sure, a lot of them. All right, let's make a smaller target here. Actually, right in the middle. I think we're just going to sit here for a bit. All right. Let's get it here. Whoa. Yeah. Watch it. Like, maybe you won't get full damage, but I don't want to risk that. Yeah, it's riding up somewhere. Okay. Where's the stuff in the air that's up there, chicken? Damn it, don't walk up them. There we go. Wait, what's that? Shotgun? No, it's a rifle. Right. Well, yes, I think I will take this truck. It's someone abandoned so thoughtlessly. So it's just good just to drive around, let everyone else kill each other. Boost. Well, I blew away the rack. Okay, finally leveled up. All right. Okay. So with that, gonna take care of this. Come on, come here. And do we need it? And another loading screen. But yeah, at this point, I don't really give a shit. This, however, kind of limited. That's going to go with May. Oh, God, my eye. All right, with that, it's been 2 hours. That's about as far as I can get right now. They don't have rank for non-ranked. I don't give a shit about it. Okay. All right. So with that, I'm going to go and call it for the night. So let's pull that. Hopefully, the past few days and other previous efforts have made it quite clear. No, I'm not just don't want to fuck the trans girl thing. No, I am honestly trying to help here and trying to provide a lifeline back to reality. Because I, came across someone that I'd already decided, hey, this is someone who could be friends with, like a legitimate friend, and watched her just flush it down the toilet over something stupid. And then, hold on a minute here. And and really have to research this whole thing. It's like, and the process of gotten to know a lot of detransitioners. I have talked with a few about Indy's case, and again, it's in the case it's a matter of when she snaps out of it, not if, when. And again, usually it's 5 years is the usual tactic, but it's also usually they're in their teens when they do this sort of thing. She'd start at 27. Energy level's different. And I think also it's like looking at what she's been doing, it's already started to slip. The fact that plus her chosen career field as porn star, and the fact she had already built up a brand for about 10 years, you can't change that overnight. People are still going to want to see the stuff you've been doing. And in a way, it's, kind of going with the borderline personality thing. Is this basically a form of self-sabotage to an extent? Because she was riding high there. 2-time award winner at Pornhub and constantly ranked, between 25 and 35. I won the 20s and 30s on there. And I, can't figure there's some element in there of how are we going to fuck this up? We don't deserve this. Because I think there's also somewhere in the back of the brain that's been ingrained that you're trash. You're not worth this. You don't deserve this shit. And compound with everything else, fucked up self-esteem and image, and just past abuse and pile on, and trying to, and feeding the thing to try and escape all this trauma. It's like, I'm trans. We wake up one day and again, literally, she woke up one and decided, I'm a guy. That's not how it works. That is not how it works. Okay. I could do a stream with Buck Angel and Marcus Deeb and Blair White, and they'll say, no, this is something they always knew was something up. And they'll also readily admit it is a mental disorder. Buck freely admits he is a female. He has to live like looking like a guy because that's how bad it is, And same thing with Marcus, and same thing with Blair. And it is, partially Trump, but at no time do they declare, I am a man, I am a woman. They'll freely admit they're biological, but this is because of a mental disorder that they are dealing with. And this is the extreme, but it's like it takes years of trying to think if there's something else. And in a lot of cases, like even when they are legitimate transsexuals, they still don't necessarily qualify for surgeries. You just got to stick with the social stuff and still constantly working at it too. There is no quick fix. Oh, you're done. Off you are in the world. And that's kind of the lie that's been sold to a lot of these gals. Mostly girls. Some guys. Mostly girls. That if you're feeling upset, puberty is traumatic anyway. Especially for girls, because it's a total metamorphosis. Guys, not so much. We just get big, hairy, and horny. But we don't go through any cycles or anything. We don't, increase testosterone, but, we can't increase, kind of an increased testosterone anyway. Like I said, other than body hair and growth, we really don't notice much. We're very simple creatures, clearly. But I had to go deep dives here on the differences between male and female anatomy and responses and everything else. And it's astonishing we're considered still part of the same species. Because we are that different. But also, then of course, you find out that the female autistic brain functions much like the male brain, and that's where a lot of this is coming from. I got a male brain. No, you have a female autistic brain. Not the same thing. Okay. A lot of similarities in function, but still, when we were still talking, and you're going through the big, long, convoluted, no man thinks like this, Indy. The more you protest, the more you're proving, no, you're a girl. You're still very much a girl. Okay. But it's like, notice less and less of the play. Although she did post a picture with a thing sticking out of her short, but I think that may have been an old picture too. But it's like the photo sets, you never see her jacking off the plastic dick like it's real. You don't see it in the videos. And she's trying to do this thing of okay, she's a femboy, but still a girl. But no, that's not how it works. Okay, that's cultural appropriation of gay culture. Femboy is short for feminine boy. Biological male trying to pass as a female. The most big example is like the Taiwanese male, boy prostitutes, girly boys. That's where a lot of that comes from. At no time is it ever a biological female. I think maybe twink, maybe even that's kind of those. But it's just like, nobody femboy can't be. No, it doesn't work that way. Okay? It's like, prancing around the miniskirt and the thing. It's like the femboy thing. So, yes, I can. So, yeah, you can pull it off because you're a fucking girl. Dumbass. You're not fooling. I think it's kind of real. She's not fooling anybody. So, it's like, lean into it and still claim to be a femboy. And I think on a certain level, subconsciously, maybe trying to figure out a way out of it. Without looking like a total moron, but it's like, no, you crossed that Rubicon a long time ago, dear. You're going to reach a point where you just got to admit you fucked up. Okay? The only two ways about it. You fucked up like you fucked up before. So it's been another case of going on stream and say, sorry, guys, I'm sorry, but I fucked up. I went nuts for a while. Thanks for sticking with me and all this stuff. That's everything. When the day happens, I would hope to be able to, it's like, hey, I've been here the whole goddamn time. Trying to point your way back to reality. I'm trying to fight back these psychopaths who, you look so white, now cut your breasts off. Like, that's sick. All right? They're just plain sick. These guys, that's what I mean. These people are not your friends, Indy. They are cheering you on. Just to see how big of a splat you'll make and how entertaining it'll be when you finally blow up. Get away from that. You got to pull away from that. And again, when I heard about that video, and I was like, yeah, not a good sign for a future marriage. We can't even come. You're working on them, and you have to fake it. No, God, no. I won't elaborate on, but that's a big fat red flag, and it's bad enough that he didn't want to show his face on camera with you, and he wants to marry them. Seriously, that's kind of like, yeah, I'm married, but I don't want to be associated with you on camera. It's like, what kind of fucked up situation is that? Think about it. Let me tell you, I love you, but I'm ashamed of you. I can't be associated with you, but I will marry you. That's wrong. Okay. And again, you got someone like, Indy working on you, and you can't come, right? It's like, you're gay. You're a Liberace gay. You have no business being intimate with a female of any kind. So give it up now. So on that, we'll talk to you later. Come on.